Welcome to video 2 of Getting Started with Ürban PAD, working with Ürban PAD assets. We're going to spend a lot of time in this video just repeating some of the same basic gestures to master the workflow. I'm going to start by loading the city project that we created in the first video and talking a little bit about assets. There are two types of assets in Ürban PAD. One are external assets that you import yourself, SHP data, meshes, textures, decals, materials, and substances that you import with asset importers that are included in Ürban PAD. And the second type are assets that are created in Ürban PAD, cities, sectors, roads, crossroads. These consist of procedural geometry decorated with your imported assets. We're going to get started and create a new asset. I'm going to set this basic sector template as my default, so I'm going to be creating a new asset from this asset. I'm going to click New or Edit, and doing either of these things is going to launch the action stack processing, which will take me to the correct editor for editing this asset. If I decide I don't want to work on this asset, I can just click the red check mark at the top. Decide that I want to create a new asset, change my mind. I'm going to expand it. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit in the 3D view and center the graph so that I can see what I'm working with. I'm going to try to do something fairly simple and change a texture. See that I've got my red roof texture, which is not exactly what I want, so I'm going to click, and this is going to take me directly to the Texture Asset Explorer, where I'm going to select another texture and replace the red texture. When I'm finished, I'm going to click the green check mark. It signifies that I'm done. And as I can see, I have a house with a pink roof, which is not exactly what I was going for, I realize. So I want to add that red texture back. Same thing. I'm going to click on the texture once I'm in the Asset Explorer. Click the green check mark, which is standard in any case to select or accept something in Ürban PAD. I'm going to save this asset. Since I'm saving it for the first time, I'm going to be asked to name it. Call it pink texture roof. I can just make a comment if I need a reminder about why it exists, and save. Clicking the save button is going to allow me to keep working with the asset. I'm just going to take a preview screenshot here. And if I'm finished with it, I can simply click the green check mark to return to the main screen. The second thing I'm going to do is to create a more complex asset from my basic sector. As you can see here, I now have a block of 4 houses. What I'm doing is putting my basic house that I just created into a block of houses. And you can use Ürban PAD templates like Lego blocks. We're simply putting this basic sector asset into a larger asset that can be accessed through the Asset Explorer. I'm going to change the template because I don't want these pink roofs. And as you can see, it updates my asset automatically. Regenerate, I don't have any pink roofs. If I want to reset the template because I want my pink roofs again, I change my mind a lot, I can hit the reset button up at the top, which is the 4th button. It's the save button with the arrow. Change this asset again, and I can see that I have my pink roofs back. In which case I'm going to lose my work. I'm going to reload and retry again. Click the expand view. You can see that I should have my pink house here, even though there aren't currently any pink houses. I don't want it. And it looks like I messed up, which is perfect. This gives me the opportunity to try it again. I'm going to expand and see that I have an empty rule. No problem. Just going to go in here, delete the node, and replace it with the correct sector link node, which will let me link to my basic house template. I'm going to come up here to the selection bar, which will take me to the sector asset selector. Choose my basic sector template. And save the asset. I really want to insist on the green check mark for moving between editors, the save button for saving your work once you're in a template. I'm going to do the same thing with the city editor, and you'll see that from editor to editor the gestures are the same, the workflow is the same. Here, in order to display my 3D view, I'm clicking on the display node at the very right of the graph, and this is going to display my city. Like I was saying, we really want to insist on using the green check mark for selecting things in the asset selectors, moving back and forth from editors, the save and the reset buttons for saving and resetting current work surfaces, and the red button, the red X, for completely stopping what you're working on, in which case you'll lose your work. Now, here I'm going to change my sector template, just like I did with my textures. I can choose to put another sector in my city. I want to edit, not change, but I just want to edit the basic block sector that's already present, so I click Edit. This is going to take me right back to the sector editor where I can work on this sector in real time. And I've accessed my basic house template from the basic block sector. Again, a simple operation. I'm going to keep working with the textures. I'm going to add a black roof texture. There we go. And you notice that I'm clicking the green check mark again to put that texture on the roof. When I click the check mark again, it's going to take me to the larger template that we created, sort of like a Lego creation, the basic block template, which is going to be included in the city. Clicking the check mark a third time is going to bring me back to the city editor. And if I click my display node again, I should be able to see this updated sector template in my city. Again, just as a reminder, because we have a little time while the city is expanding, the green check mark is for selecting assets in the asset selector. The save button is for saving whatever you're working on and continuing to work in the current editor. The red X is for stopping what you're working on, losing your work. And the reset button over at the very right, the save button with the arrow on it, is for resetting the session and restoring it to the point where it was when you opened it. Going to change templates now. Again, just repeating that gesture and trying to master editing here. Click display again. Again, this is really not what I want, so I'm going to pick it back up, get a little more practice, edit again. I'm selecting my asset, clicking on the green check mark to go to, clicking on the edit button rather, sorry, to go to sector editor. and clicking on the basic sector template. I'm going down 2 template levels essentially to work on the template at the basic level. This house, like I keep repeating, is going to be combined into a larger block template, and this block template, as you can see, is going to be placed in the city. And this is how Ürban PAD templates start out as very simple objects and can become complex objects with just a little work and a little editing. We take our house, we make a block, we put the block in the city. Just a very quick, easy example of template propagation, template editing to fill up a city. You can do this as your first Ürban PAD city and have a basic functioning city in about 15 minutes.